Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about the adorable Decorated with Happiness bundle from the Stampin' Up! July-December mini catalog. Now there's only a couple of weeks left in this catalog, and the dies that are part of this bundle are actually on sale as part of the last chance promotion. They're on for 50% off. That is an amazing deal. And these dies are fabulous. In fact, you could get the dies without the stamp set, but honestly, you're going to want both. Anywho, I'm going to show you 3 projects today. I've also recorded a reel, so I'll give you a little sneak peek of that project. That one will post on my Instagram channel on my Instagram feed on Thursday. So I've got lots to share with you. I'm going to give you some tips for using these dies and stamps, and we're going to do a whole lot of crafting. Are you all ready for it? All right. Let me pull up my video on my iPad here so I can see if anyone is joining me. If you're here, let me know. All right, there I am. Let's maybe plug my phone in because my phone is a little on the low side. So we're just going to plug in the charger there just to make sure I don't lose you. All right. Hi, Pam. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. I think I'm having some connectivity issues. I had a little blip when I started my live, so I'm hoping that was just a little one-time thing and we're okay. But hopefully we'll be able to get through this and we'll stay connected. All right. Okay. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Welcome. All right, so as I mentioned, we are all about the Decorated with Happiness bundle, and it is a retiring item from the current holiday catalog. Now, this catalog finishes up just after New Year's, and there are some amazing, amazing deals on products in this catalog right now. So you're going to want to hop over to my online store, not now. Not now. Stay here. Once I'm done, you're going to want to hop over to my online store and check out all of the bargains. There are a lot of great deals, including the dies that we're going to be using today. All right, so enough chit chat. Hi, Jean from Hagerstown, Maryland. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I am going to flip my camera. We're going to look at what's included in the bundle, and then we're going to get to stamping. Okay, so enough chit chat from me. Let's do the flipperoo. And away we go. Make sure this looks relatively straight. Sorry about the wobble there. Let's just move that up a bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. Okay, so Decorated with Happiness. Now, this again is one of those bundles that you may have just bypassed because it doesn't take up a lot of real estate in the catalog. It's kind of one of those, I like it, but I don't need it kind of bundles. And I kind of felt that way too, but I really loved the dies. That was for me actually what I bought first. I didn't buy the bundle the first time out. I just bought the dies. Why? Because of the Pine Sprig die, this one. Okay, I have used this a ton on a ton of different projects this year, and I absolutely love it. So the bundle pricing is $71. However, you're not going to want to order the bundle. You're going to want to order the stamps and dies separately because right now the dies are on for half price. So the regular $47 here in Canada. So half price was half of $47, $23.50, which is a great deal for these dies. Okay. All right, so that's that. Here they are up close and personal. So there is our stamp set. You're going to see lots of stamping today, lots of this in action, a whole bunch. And then here are the dies. So as I mentioned, I purchased the dies before I got the stamp set because of this little pine bough die. I have used this, I can't even tell you. It's probably been run through my machine probably 1,000 times this fall. I've used it a bunch. And then we have some cute ornaments, some great little stars and snowflakes. And then, of course, we have the open dies to cut the stamped images. Okay, so that is the bundle we're going to be using. And let's get to some stamping. Hi, Jill. Hi, Julie. Oh, thank you, Julie. Hi, Laura Bart. Welcome. All right, so the first card we're going to do is this one. Now, I posted this yesterday, and I got lots of comments about how this kind of has a Grinchy vibe, and I totally agree. So one of the things I love about the images in the stamp set is that they're kind of whimsical. They remind me of cartoons that I used to watch, Christmas cartoons when I was a kid. So The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the original Dr. Seuss animated sort of short movie is one that we loved every Christmas, and the artwork in this totally reminds me of that. So let's put this one together, shall we? So we're going to start with a piece of basic white cardstock. It's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then we're going to be using 3 different greens to kind of create our green background. We're using Parakeet Party, Granny Apple Green, and Shaded Spruce. So I'm going to start with my lightest. Sorry, just need a quick sip of water. I've been doing lots of talking the last few days. And we're using, I'm just going to show you on the stamp set because it's easier to see. We're going to use this sort of, I don't know, it's almost like a shadow image of the pine branch. Okay, so I'm going to bring out my Parakeet Party and that stamp, and I'm just going to kind of stamp all over, sort of all down, I should say, one side of my cardstock. Okay, I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention to getting them oriented in any particular way. I'm just kind of doing it randomly. Okay, just like that. So we're going to set that one aside. Then I'm going to bring in my Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, I don't really need to worry too much about cleaning my stamp because this is a darker shade of green. Now this time I'm going to take care not to stamp directly over top of the images I just stamped. So I'm kind of filling in some of that white space. Okay, so I'm just kind of creating the look of branches. This actually, as I was making, I'm like, this kind of looks tropical, right? It looks like some tropical leaves looking through a rainforest or something. Okay, now I'm going to keep my Granny Apple Green out because I'm going to come back to it in actually, no, let's do it now. I'm going to keep that same stamp and the same ink, but I'm going to stamp off first this time. And again, I'm going to fill in some more of my background because I don't want to see much white coming through. So I'm just kind of stamping over top, filling in as much of the white as I can with my stamped off Granny Apple Green. Okay, now there's still a few spots. I'm going to come in with this little sort of smudgy stamp here, and I'm just going to fill in the rest of those gaps. So I'm stamping off and just filling in some of that white space again. Okay, so there is my the start of my background. Now I didn't come quite across quite as far as I did on my sample. In fact, I think I'm going to add a few more just because I want to have room for my ornaments. So let's come back with our parakeet, and we're going to add just a couple more. So if you don't like what you have, you can always add more. That's the cool thing about this. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so there's my parakeet. So let's set that one aside. And we'll come back with our Granny Apple and fill in a little bit more with our Granny Apple. Maybe I'll bring one down there. There we go. That's looking a little fuller. And then again, I'm just going to fill in some of my stamped, or some of my white space with my little smudgy stamp here, stamped off. Okay, that's all there is to it. Pretty simple, right? All right, now we're going to bring in our Shaded Spruce, which is our darkest green, and we're going to use the actual pine branch stamp. So I find with this stamp, in order to make sure I get good coverage, it's a large stamp, so I like to bring my ink pad to my stamp rather than the other way around. So we're going to be stamping this a bunch of times too, okay? And again, I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to be directional, I'm trying to be fairly random here, because again, we kind of are trying to just over stamp that background to create that look of foliage here. Okay, and let's add a couple more. We'll do a couple here. I think we're going to come on this way like that. And we'll get a couple of these down here. I'm actually going to over stamp this twig because I don't really want to see that stem so much. Okay, and then we have, where did I put it? There it is. This little single pine branch. So it's this little guy here. And this is really useful for, again, filling in some of the gaps here. So I'm just going to come in and add in a couple of these little guys here, just to fill in some of the gaps. Okay, that's all there is to it. Really simple backgrounds. Lots of stamping, but simple background. Thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, it's kind of fun to just layer color and play with the images. Okay, so that's all there is to it. Look at the mess my grid paper's in. That's okay. You know you're having a good time when your grid paper's a mess. All right, so let's pull in our other bits and pieces here. So I have here actually we'll wait on that. Let's put our ornaments on first. So my ornaments I've already stamped and colored and die cut. So these are stamped in Memento Black ink. And then I've colored them using my Dark and Light Poppy Parade and Shaded Spruce blends. For the ornament hangers, I actually used my Light Soft Suede, which kind of has a bit of a gold look to it. So we're going to go ahead and lay these out where we want them. Okay, so I want kind of two to be hanging off the top, and then this guy's going to kind of be hanging from a branch here. Okay, now these are going to get popped up. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals. So we'll kind of do 2 on this guy and a little mini at the top. So we'll pop that one on. Hi, Krista, welcome. Hi, Linda. Glad you could join me today. Let's pop this guy on first. Okay, and then we'll add these guys. And we'll put one little mini on here again. I broke my thumbnail again, so I'm a little impaired when it comes to my dimensional backings. It's a little bit hard to peel them when you don't have a thumbnail. I should be using my Take Your Pick. And then this long skinny guy, I'm just going to use minis. Pop that one on. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. Thanks, Pam. I like it too. I think it's just kind of fun, and I think it would be fun to send to a child at Christmas time. I may send this one to my niece and nephew in Michigan. Even though I'm going to see them over the holidays, it's always fun to get mail, especially when you're a kid. Mail with your own name on it. So there we go. All right, so now we're going to add some black twine. So I was trying to kind of mimic what the ornaments were hanging with my sentiment. So I have a very little bit of black twine left here. So I'm just going to fold it in half so that I sort of have a double length, because what we're going to do is wrap the ends around the back of our panel here and secure them. So it looks like I've wrapped it around, but I haven't, because I don't like tying things that are flat. I like tying bows, but not around wrapping and tying. I just find it hard to get it to look the way I want it. So this is my little hack, my little cheater way of doing it. So we're going to add a glue dot and another glue dot. I could also wrap my twine around if I wanted to and secure it and then tie my bow separately. But this, why waste twine on the back of your cardstock where nobody's going to see it, right? This way, I'm not wasting it, wrapping it all the way around. Okay, so let's get rid of our extra bit here. We don't need all that length. Okay. So now before we put our sentiment on, we're going to layer this on a piece of Poppy Parade cardstock. So this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So that's going to layer, oh, maybe it's not. Did I cut this the wrong size? Yes, I did. Let's give this a trim. Good thing we haven't glued this on yet. Let's give that a quick trim. Grab my little guillotine here. So we are going to trim, I'm going to pull this right off because we need to trim off 1/8 of an inch. This should be 4 by 5 1/4, and it's actually 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I don't know what I was thinking when I cut this. So there we go. And then I'm going to eyeball this because this little guillotine doesn't quite go out to 5 inches. So I'm going to eyeball at 1/8 of an inch, and that should work. So let's put our twine back on again. Now that we've doctored that up, now we can check to see. Oh, lo and behold, it fits. Look at that. All right, let's add that. So we're going to add a little bit of seal to the back of our panel here. And layer that onto our Poppy Parade piece, just like that. Okay, and then that is going to go on a shaded spruce card base. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And once again, add a little bit of seal. Now, I've had a couple people asking me about getting seal to work properly and having problems with having to advance it manually with their finger. So here's a little tip. And I've been doing this for a long time, really not thinking about it, but it works. So you may have to advance the first strip you do, but then once you put down a strip of adhesive, start your next line over top of where there's already adhesive. And what that does is it actually advances the adhesive for you, so you don't have to do it with your finger. And it goes much, much quicker. So that's my hot tip for seal. Okay, so there is our background. We need to work on our sentiment. So I have here, these were punched using the double oval punch. So I punched a small one in white cardstock and then the scallop in Poppy Parade. So we're going to stamp our Christmas Greetings in Memento Black, just because it's my favorite black, not because we're going to be coloring with alcohol markers, but I just like the crispness of this black. And then I like adding a little something behind my sentiments. We're going to just add a little bit of Parakeet Party. So I'm using that same smudgy stamp that I was using to fill in the background. And I'm just going to stamp it right over top of my greeting. Okay, and that's just going to give me a little color behind my greeting. And then we're going to go ahead and layer that with some dimensionals. Julie, you need to grab it. Seriously, the dies are half price. Like, really, it's a bargain. This is a great and fun set, especially if you're like me and you used to love holiday cartoons as a kid. Like, this just reminds me so much of those, that sort of artwork from the 60s, 70s-ish. Not going to reveal, well, you all know how old I am. I'm old. All right, so we're going to pop our sentiment on there, and then we're going to add a little black bow. So I'm going to bring back what's left of my black twine, and we're going to make a cute little bow here. And just get our loops nice and even. Okay, then I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to roll it into a little glue booger, and I'm going to put it right at the top where the twine that's on my card meets the top of my label there. And we'll trim this off our roll and then just press the knot of our bow right into that glue dot, and then we get a cute little bow. Okay, now I added some bling to my ornaments with a little bit of seal. Not seal, this is Wink of Stella. I'm looking at the seal sitting here. Holding a Wink of Stella, looking at seal. Yes, my brain. Sometimes the way it works is, well, we won't talk about that. My students just kind of look at me and roll their eyes sometimes. All right, so we got a little bit of sparkle on our ornaments. And then I wanted to add some sort of twinkling lights in the tree. So I'm using some of our adhesive back sequins. These are also on the last chance list. I can't remember if they're on sale. So somebody who is maybe familiar or knows what I'm talking about, check and let me know if these are on sale. These are great little easy ways to add a little pop of sparkle and shimmer to your projects. They come with adhesive on them, which is a bonus. No fussing with glue dots or glue. And it's just a fun way to add a little bit of sparkle to your project. And there we go. There is our cute little Dr. Seuss inspired Christmas card. Okay. Now I'll just quick show you. Oh, I didn't do anything on the inside. Oh, scandalous. We have naked insides of the card. Unbelievable. All right, let's set this one aside. We're going to move on to number 2. Just got to clean my mess here a little bit. All right, we don't need that guy. We do need that guy. Okay, we are good. All right, next one is this one. So this one features the dies a little bit more. I posted this earlier today. So non-traditional color scheme for the holidays, but I like the softness of it. Sometimes it's fun to use pastel. So this is super bold and bright, right? And then we're kind of toning it down a little bit with some pastels. So let's get to work on this one. So we're going to start this time with a piece of soft seafoam. Now, soft seafoam is one of my favorites to use in place of basic white. Okay. If you want something just a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle, try using soft seafoam in place of white. It just is a really nice alternative. Okay. Or if you run out of white, it's a great alternative. So again, this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. Now I should make sure, because now I'm second guessing my cutting abilities. Yeah. 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And to start, we are going to do a little bit of blending using Granny Apple Green. Okay, so I'm just going to do a bit of blending around the edges of my panel here, all the way around, using a bit of Granny Apple Green. And the combination of these two almost looks like Pear Pizzazz. You're going to see I'm actually going to use a Pear Pizzazz card base behind this panel when we're done. which you wouldn't think would work, but it totally does. So Granny Apple Green on soft seafoam is very, very close to Pear Pizzazz. So I'm just taking my blending brush, going all the way around the outside of my panel here. Okay, I'm not coming too far on. I just kind of want a little bit of a shadow around the edges. Okay, what a difference that makes, hey? There's the plain, there's the blended. Isn't that amazing? All right, so let's set that aside, and then we are going to come in with our pine sprig or spruce sprig again, and some shaded spruce ink. And once again, we are going to, see if I can ink the whole stamp this time. We are going to stamp twice with this sort of pine branch. So we're going to do one that's not inked sufficiently. There we go. So we're going to do one kind of coming down from the top like that. And then we're going to do another coming on from the side, sort of like that. Okay. Now you're going to notice that there's a naked spot up here and there isn't here. So once again, we're going to bring in this little extra sprig here and fill in that gap using that stamp. So I love this stamp. It's a great addition to the stamp set because it allows me to add some extra branches to my little pine branch. Okay, so there are my branches. Now, before we work on our ornaments, we have one more thing we need to do in our background, and that is, where did I put my little, there they are. Stamp some little snowflakes around the outer edge of our panel here. So I'm going to use soft seafoam ink, same shade as the cardstock that we started with. And I'm just going to come around. They almost look like little ghosts of snowflakes. I'm just kind of coming around all the way around my panel here and just adding this little hint of these snowflakes. I'm not even sure how well this is showing up on the camera. I will hold it up for you in a second so you can see what that looks like. Not sure how well it's coming across. So here we go. Can you see those subtle little snowflakes around the edges? Again, just a little bit of texture and interest on our card. Okay. All right. Now let's pull in our little bits here. I'm going to show you how I did the ornaments. So let's put that to the side. So the ornaments, again, I'll show you the dies. So the ornaments cut out sort of an outline of the ornaments. There is no solid image to put behind it. And for this card, I didn't want to see my stamped pine branches behind it. I wanted my ornaments to look more solid. So all I did is, I'll show you what I did. So I cut my ornaments out. Okay, this is So Saffron, Pool Party, and Blushing Bride. These ones I've already layered, but this one I've saved so I can show you how I did it. I cut them with some adhesive sheets on the back. Okay. So I'm going to peel off the backing on my So Saffron ornament, and I'm going to stick it to just a little scrap of So Saffron cardstock. Then I'm going to bring in my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut around the image here. So I'm kind of fussy cutting the die cut. Does that make any sense? Now the trick when you're doing this is you kind of want to almost get underneath the die cut image because that'll give you a nice clean edge. So I'm kind of taking my snips and sort of almost like digging in underneath the edge of that image. And that's going to give me a nice clean finish as I go. So let's just finish this guy up. Okay, nice and close to my die cut. Okay, and that gives me a solid image behind her, a solid piece behind it. Now I just need to clean this up just a touch. This is hard to do and I can't hold it up close to my face. I'm half blind. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and layer these onto our card. Okay, we're going to pop them up with some dimensionals, but first we're going to add a little bit of wink because we can and because it's Christmas and everything should sparkle, right? Right, so we're just going to take and add a little bit of wink of Stella. I'm not worrying too much about getting the background. It's really that outline that I want to bling up here. So we'll add a little bit here. You guys probably can't see this on the camera. You're gonna have to take my word for it. They're sparkly, sparkly. Okay. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put these on with some dimensionals. So let's just throw a couple dimensionals on each one, and then we can place them where we want them. And 1 and 2. Okay, so we'll kind of work from the top down. We're going to start with our little saffron ornament right up near the top. And then we'll take our pool party one. Oh yes, Kelly, you absolutely need to use your Wink of Stella more. I'm actually in need of some new ones. Mine are all getting quite dry. And then we'll add our little Blushing Bride bell right about there. Okay, then I die cut some cute little bows. So again, these are from the dies, okay, right there. And I cut them from some of the brushed metallic gold cardstock. This is in the annual catalog. And it's just got a really nice sort of subtle shimmer, but also some lovely texture. So I'm just going to take and add a little dab of liquid glue to the center of the little loop on each one of my ornaments here. And then I'm just going to take and adhere my bow to each one. You could do this with glue dots if you wanted to. I just find this a little bit faster. Okay, now the last little touch is to embellish with some of these pretty, actually before I do, I should probably stamp my sentiment, shouldn't I? Yes, I should. Let's do that. All right, so we're going to take our Christmas greeting sentiment once again, and I'm going to come back with my shaded spruce ink. So we're going to ink this up. We're going to make sure it's well inked because we don't want to have a misstamp here, do we? No, we do not. All right, so we're going to stamp this hopefully relatively straight. Not bad. Done and done. Okay, sometimes it's fun to stamp your sentiment right directly on your background. I know it can be a little nerve-wracking if you're not really confident in your ability to stamp straight, but it's something to try. And if it doesn't work, you can always cover it up with a label, right? Right. Okay, so these little stars are fabulous, again, from the die set, and these ones all have 3 stars on one die, so they're really quick and easy to cut. Just kind of lay them all out on your scrap of paper and then run them through. So I'm just going to take and place a few of these with my Take Your Pick, and then we're going to glue them on. Let's put this big guy, I don't know, let's put the big guy down near the bottom. Maybe not necessarily, don't you move, stay right there. I may not necessarily use all of these. Let's just see. I just love the sparkle and texture that these add. And they actually cut, let me just see if I can hold this large one up. All of them have this beautiful, can you see the sort of the cut or embossed pattern in them? They're really quite lovely. DIY embellishments, there you go. So I'll just add a few of these. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is a bit of overkill. Let's get rid of this big guy. Too many stars. We'll add a little guy there. That's good. Okay, so then all it takes is a bit of liquid glue. So I like working with the glue in my left hand, picking up my embellishment, add a dab of glue, drop my embellishment. Pick up, glue, dab. Super quick and easy way to stick these on. Now you certainly could use adhesive sheets with these, but let me tell you, it's a little bit of a pain in the bum to peel the backing off these little teeny tiny embellishments or die cuts, okay? So I find this is much easier. You could also do my little glue dot hack where you stick them all onto your glue dots and then peel them off one by one. The problem is some of these are so small, like these little bitty stars, they're actually too small for a glue dot, right? You'll see the glue dot behind it. So this is the quickest, tidiest way that I have found to adhere these little guys. Okay, there we go. So simple. All right, we're gonna let that dry for a sec. Our card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. And once again, this is Pear Pizzazz cardstock, but look how perfect that looks behind our blended soft seafoam. Does that not look great? So let's fold in half along our score line. Hi, Peggy, welcome. Hi, Arlene. All right, we're gonna add, I'm actually gonna put my adhesive directly on my card base just to give that, those stars an extra couple seconds to set up. And I'm gonna be super careful so I don't knock them all out of the way because it does take a couple minutes for that glue to set. So I'm just gonna center my card front And there we go. Now tell me I did something on this one. Oh, I did. Look, here we go. Here's the inside. So I added a basic white layer. Did some more stamping, similar to what I did on the first card, but I stamped off, I used stamped off Granny Apple Green and Shaded Spruce, and then added a sentiment. Okay, so there we go. Cute, non-traditional Christmas colors. All right, our last one is a quick and easy gift card holder. So I am all about quick and easy right now because we are in, our first day of Christmas holidays is actually the 26th. So we are until the 23rd. We have Christmas Eve on Saturday, Christmas on Sunday, and then vacation starts on Monday. So I have zero time to get ready for Christmas. So there's going to be a lot of people in my life getting gift cards this year. So this is a super, super quick, easy peasy gift card holder I'm going to show you. So let's pull out our bits and bobs here and get to it. So this started out as just a regular card base. Ignore this because this is, I used the basic borders dies and I used some washi tape to hold it down. My washi tape was a wee bit on the sticky side, so it peeled up my cardstock, but it doesn't matter. That's going to get covered, so we're good. So this started out as a 5.5 by 8.5 card base, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Okay. Then I cut off 1 1/4 inches. So I put it in my trimmer, cut off 1 1/4 inches, and then I used my basic borders dies. And to cut this sort of rick-rack or zigzag stitched edge. I love it. I think it's kind of fun. Again, kind of Grinchy, really. And I just think it's a great way to kind of decorate that edge. Okay, so we're going to start by folding in half along our score line here. Okay, so it's going to open this way. Then we have a piece of DSP. So this is what, 2.5 by 5 1/4. So this is from the Celebrate Everything Host Pack. It's one of the mega packs. It's 48 sheets of 12 by 12. And it has so many fun patterns in it, including this fun ornament pattern, which works so well with this stamp set. So this is, again, another one of the patterns from that set. So we're going to go ahead and layer that piece of DSP onto our top panel here. I grab my other seal because the one that I was using just ran out. So we'll add that and pop that on. Hopefully relatively straight and centered-ish. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to add our die cut. So this one, the last one, two were kind of all about the stamps. This one's all about the die. So there is that fabulous pine branch die that I have used so much this season. So we're going to kind of crisscross them at the top of our panel. I'll open this way so you can, no, I don't like that. We'll do it this way. It's easier to see. So we are going to trim off the stem on both of our little branches here. And we're going to adhere these again, so they're sort of crisscrossed at the top of our piece. Now, I should, if I had been thinking, I should have used adhesive sheets when I cut these, but I did not. So you get to watch me dab little bits of glue on here and realize how much better and faster it would have been had I used adhesive sheets. Oh, and I just dropped it on my grid paper. Perfect. So we'll add this one here. Yes, love gift cards too. Absolutely. Yeah, they are. Well, my son, my 15-year-old son, has asked for several different kinds of gift cards, mainly food, because where he goes to school, there are a number of sort of fast food restaurants right across the street. So he and his friends like to pop over there at lunch and get themselves pizza or Tim Hortons or whatever. Subway is over there as well. So he's asked for some gift cards. So he's going to get lots of gift cards and cute gift card holders because I just can't give a plain gift card. So there we go. We stuck our branches on. All right. Now this is not stuck very well, but that's okay. So then we're going to bring in our die cut ornaments. So here we go. So our color palette here is kind of pulled from the DSP. This color isn't actually in the DSP, but I feel like it's close enough. I just really like it. This is the Orchid Opulence. We have Melon Mambo and we have Crushed Curry. Okay. The pink in this is actually polished pink, but again, I actually cut these before I decided what I was going to do, and I just kind of like it. So we're going with it. Doesn't always have to be perfectly coordinated, right? So these I did put adhesive sheets on. So we're just going to peel off our backing. Get rid of that little guy there. And we're going to pop these on. So we have our bell. Now, if you wanted to, you could certainly fill in the backing like we did on the last card, or you could even save your little negatives and fill them all in. I'm not doing that because I don't have the patience, but you could if you wanted to. So let's get rid of our backings on all of them. So we'll put our little pink guy up here. And then our crushed curry sort of over to the side. Now again, I want to make sure that it looks like they're kind of hanging from something. I don't want them suspended in midair. So there we go. Okay, then we're going to add our little bows. So I cut the bows from the same colors, but I'm going to mix them up so that they don't all have matchy-matchy bows. So again, get rid of our backings. Pop this one on here. And this one on here. And one more. This one kind of, it was cut kind of in between where the adhesive sheets were, but I think it's good enough, it'll stay. There we go. Okay, then we're going to add our sentiment. So I have here 2 die cut circles. This one I think is around 1 1/4, and this one's about 1 1/2. And I'm going to use my little Boughs of Jolly. I kind of think that's a fun pun for this card. Again, this is one that'll probably go to my son. He's a pun master, so he will like that. He'll appreciate the punniness of it. So I'm going to ink up my Boughs of Jolly and stamp it on my little circle here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and layer that on our Granny Apple Green circle, wherever it went. There it is. When you got a lot of stamping on your grid paper, it's hard to find all these bits. They kind of get lost amid all of the mess on your grid paper. Okay, and then that is going to go on, popped on the front of our card. So again, I'm going to use a lot of dimensionals just because, well, because I can. And I like them. So there we go. I'm not apologizing. That was not an apology for too many dimensionals. All right, so there is our sentiment. Now we're going to tie a cute little bow with our gingham, black and white gingham ribbon. I so hope this stays when the annual catalog retires. I love this ribbon. I use it all the time. It goes with everything. And you can color it with your blends if you want, but the black and white works with our color palette here. So I'm just going to make a cute little bow and trim my tails. And I'm going to add it with a glue dot. So we'll press the knot of our bow. And then that's just going to kind of go right at the top of our little circle there. Cute, cute, cute. Now we need to work on the inside. So the inside is simply a 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel. Okay, it's just going to get glued on the inside. And then I've added an extra strip. So this is more of that Celebrate Everything DSP. It is 1 1/2 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, so we are just going to glue this to the bottom edge of our basic white piece, but we're going to only make sure we apply our glue around 3 sides, right? Because we want to form a little pocket to hold our gift card. So I'm putting my adhesive around 1 long edge and 2 short edges. And then we're going to layer this. And again, I need to put this on something so I can see, because I can't see white against white. So let's pop that on there. Just like that. Okay, so I have that open little pocket. That's where my gift card's going to go. And then we're going to stamp a sentiment. So I'm going to use the Wishing You a Season Decorated with Happiness and Wonder. And again, I'm going to stamp it in my Memento Black. Ooh, got a little scrap on there. That would not have gone well. Let's get rid of that. And try again. That's better. All right. So we're going to stamp this towards the top because remember, we're going to have a gift card there. Okay. And then this is going to get glued inside our card. So we'll just add a little bit of seal to the back of our panel here. And we're going to pop this inside our card. Just about there. Yep, that looks good. All right, now here's a gift card. Starbucks, of course. So we're going to pop that in. I like it because it kind of matches my... So then when I put it in by stamping up near the top, you see Wishing You a Season Decorated with Happiness and Wonder. I think that's kind of fun that you can see part of the sentiment when the gift card's in, and then the whole sentiment when you take it out. So there is that cute little gift card holder. Now we're going to add again some little sparkles in our pine boughs. So again, this is the same pack of sequins that we used on the first card. Whoops, I'm losing my tip here. They come, I think you get 4 different colors in the pack. There's a gold, a white, the Poppy Parade, and Shaded Spruce. So you're getting lots of different options in that pack. I think that's good. There we go. Done and done. Is that cute? Cute? Easy? Really easy. Gotta like easy at this time of year, right? Okay, so let's bring back our project. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple more ideas. So again, I was all about the stamps. So this one is all stamping. Okay, no die cutting, just super simple. Added a little bit of bling. There are the white sequins from that same sequin pack. Okay, so stamping the ornaments, filling them in with the sort of smudgy stamps. Super, super simple. And then this one I did a reel of. So again, this reminds me of animated Christmas. So this is my Charlie Brown Christmas tree. The best thing about photopolymer stamps is that you can bend them really easily, right? So I bent my pine sprig into a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. There's that single branch that I filled in, right, to make it look a little bit more tree-like, and did a little bit of ink blending. So you can catch my reel on this one on my Instagram feed on Thursday. It'll post. Okay. All right, everyone. I hope you like these cute little projects, and I hope you had fun just sort of reliving some childhood animated Christmas classics with me. And I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Now go check out the sale and grab these dies, 50% off. Now said, bye for now.